So recently, I've had a lot of battling internal messages with my head. It's been very conflicting and taking a lot of my attention away from what truly matters. And on one side of my brain, I'm hearing all of this work ethic and hustle culture telling me to work into the night, sacrifice all that comes to you in a sense of family and relationships and this monk mode, this type of isolation. And on the other end is life is temporary and in a blink of an eye will be gone. So focus on what truly matters. And I'm in this back and forth on how to discern what's right for me and my family and what's true. And what I've come to realize is something I never fully go to first, which I'm working on. So what does Scripture say? What does the Bible say about all of this? And the Bible leans more towards, well, I don't even think it leans more towards, it shows the reality and mortality of human nature, that in one day I'll be here and in the next day I'll be gone like a vapor in the wind. You read Ecclesiastes, everything is vanity, nothing matters, but we still do have responsibility. And there's a fine line of what to focus on when, and there's a time for everything, right? You read Proverbs and you get this wisdom literature. All this to say that there's so much information in between these two extremes, that what do you focus on? And what I've come to realize is that when I would leave work early and come home, and early is subjective. When I would leave work and come home, I would still have work on my mind. But when I did that, I thought in order to feel and look important to my wife and my family, I had to be in some type of mood, in a mood that was poor and sour and almost like, look at me or look at him. He has so much important things on his plate that he needs to be in this type of mood. He has such responsibility. And I think back of Ryan Holiday's Ego is the Enemy. My ego of thinking this way was my own worst enemy, because what was most important to me and what is most important to me is my family, are my children, and is my faith. I'm walking to the door with not having that attitude that backs up those statements. So after speaking to my wife about this and not really knowing what to do next after prayer, I've come to a quote that I resonate with that I want to share with you here. And that is, joy is not a betrayal of responsibility. And what I mean by this is that you can still be happy and have a lot of responsibility. Look at Jesus. He had the most responsibility ever to walk this earth, yet he still was the first to serve and wash his disciples' feet. He still was joyous and he still was loving. For me to say I'm a Christian and not to walk as my example as Jesus did, well then I'm not truly living up to what I'm being called to do. So therefore, the way I've shifted my mind now is I'm going to be joyful through it all. And the worst that can happen, the very worst that can happen, is someone thinks I'm not as important as I want them to think. And if that's the worst thing that can happen, well, I'd rather be joyous all the days of my life, working through all the responsibility and importance that the Lord has placed in my care to steward well, than to live a miserable life with meaning in vanity and temporary things that will in eternity come not matter in the slightest. So next time you do something, do it joyfully, because when you do things joyfully, it doesn't mean that it's any less important. And remember to think about eternity often, because that is truly our ending place after this temporary life.